It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio with us. Today is Tom O'Halloran, president of Keep Sedona Beautiful. Welcome.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you.
Welcome back. Different topic today.
Different one, yes.
You're usually here talking about the water and that, but today it's about a national monument.
Yes, the Sedona Verde Valley Red Rock National Monument.
And I was talking to you before the show, and you sent this over and said that you'd like to come on the show and talk about it, which we encourage people to do, is to call us and say they want to be on the show. And I was thinking to myself, gosh, I remember something about this.
You think?
Yeah. You know, and I've been here like 20 years, and I thought, okay, I know I've talked about this before, but it was a little something different at that time, but similar at the same time.
It's being called different things as you move along. You know, National Scenic Area, now it's National Monument. It's because of the governmental process you have to go through. A little bit of difference on the what you're trying to protect, you know, and things like that. But the bottom line is that it's the same overall thought, you know, to take this 160,000 acres that we've identified as part of an amendment to the old Forest Service plan, the Coconino County Coconino Forest Plan, and preserve it for the future generations. And currently, it's under a process called Amendment 12. And that has 12 different management zones in there, mostly around the Sedona area. And it also has incorporates the standard of no land trades. So that 160,000 acres is temporarily protected right now because that can be taken away through a administrative process in the Forest Service. And what we'd like to do is, through a proclamation of the President, using the Antiquities Act of 1906, is take that land and permanently put it aside, or as permanent as possible, given government.
Okay, and then what would happen to that chunk of land then, this 160,000 acres, well, if this came to fruition?
The important part is that it would, it's only federal lands that are under the control of the National Monument. All private lands, and you have the map here, anything you see in white is private land. And so any of that land that is in white does not fall under the jurisdiction of the National Monument status. And also the private property rights to that land are protected, and the ingress and egress and water rights are protected under the proclamation that the President signs for these national monuments. There's no use of eminent domain. The government can't come and force you to sell your property just because of the national monument.
Okay.
And you can, if you wanted solar panels on the house, if you wanted windmills, all that stuff, it's your land. You have to deal with the county or the city or the state, whatever regulatory body that is that you're currently dealing with.
Okay, now on the map, I notice most of the white is already developed.
Yes, you know, the Village of Oak Creek, Sedona area. Sedona has about 20 to 25% more to be developed of open space that can be developed. They could get better usage out of their commercial space. Village of Oak Creek is pretty developed. There's some land out in the as you leave the Village of Oak Creek and head out to Red Rock Crossing on Verde Valley School Road, there's land available back in there. But, you know, and you have Red Rock State Park, and that's kind of almost dead in the middle of the monument area. And it's obviously it's a state park, so the monument wouldn't affect the status of any state lands either, or any county lands, only federal lands. And that's been upheld, not only is it in the Antiquities Act, it's been upheld by the Supreme Court, by a district court, and a legal opinion from the solicitor of the Department of Interior.
And this property, this land we're talking about here, it actually does meet the requirement for a national monument.
It does.
Quite a bit needs to be, in order for that to happen, quite a bit of things have to be done.
Yeah, and this national monument would be there to protect the antiquities, and we were talking earlier, and there's 840 inventoried sites in this 160,000 acres. And there's an estimated 6,000 more that haven't been inventoried yet. And so it's one of the most dense areas in the whole entire United States for antiquities, going back 14,000 years.
Okay.
And so it's a fairly significant area for that. Then, of course, we have the world-famous scenic views. And we're getting 3 or 4 million people coming in every year. The land is getting beaten up pretty good. The federal government has had our Forest Service people do the best job they can, but they don't get funded at a level that's necessary. So we want to protect the scenic views. We want to protect the geology, the riparian habitats and watershed, and also the antiquities. And to do that, the National Monument would identify those as being the focus of a management plan. Now, the management plan would you'd be able to do whatever you do today in the forest. Well, I got a call the other day, can I still walk my dog? Yes. And somebody said, well, when do the gates close? There are no gates. The forest is going to be open 24/7. We have fees up in the Sedona area that they're called the Red Rock Pass, and those fees would still stay in effect. But we do not anticipate additional fees because of monument status. And then there's a whole economic process to this. Obviously, Sedona gets a huge benefit from the ability of sales tax because of all these visitors.
Oh, sure. Yeah, tourism is their #1 industry.
In fact, 60 to 70% of their general fund, given one year or another, is sales tax. I mean, they wouldn't exist without that type of income. Sure. And down the Cottonwood area, there's probably over 2,000 people that work in the tourist industry up in Sedona. Mm-hmm. That's millions of dollars into the Cottonwood economy on a consistent basis. And the reason, one of the things we did this time is we changed the name. When we're dealing with the National Scenic Area, it was going to be called the Sedona National Scenic Area. This is being called the Sedona Verde Valley because if you take a look at the map here, Cottonwood, and you go north towards or northeast towards Sedona along 89A, Cottonwood and Clarkdale are closer to Loy Butte and Sycamore Canyon and some of these other areas along the Red Cliffs area than Sedona is.
Sure, sure.
And so they become gateway cities to a national monument and benefit from the economic activity that a national monument brings.
Why did we change from National Scenic to National Monument?
There's a difference. First of all, there's a couple of things going on. You can't get a land bill through Congress. They have just, for a decade now, they've just refused to get land bills through that Congress. The second piece is that what we're trying to protect in a National Scenic Area, you're trying to protect the scenic integrity. And the more we looked into this, the more we found out that it doesn't do as good a job of is protecting the antiquities and the riparian habitat and some of those other amenities that this forest has, or attributes that this forest has, that should be protected for future generations, for our current wildlife, for the quality of life of residents throughout the Verde Valley, through the quality of the visitor experience to the area. And so you can keep, people are going to keep coming to Sedona. I mean, we're spending tons of money in this region to bring people in. So it's not like we're going to stop that flow. And the state of Arizona is expected in 45 years to be 12 million people instead of 6.7 million people. And most of that's going to be in Maricopa County, and an ever-expanding Maricopa County, mm-hmm. It feels like. And so they're going to come here as day trippers. They'll come in,
sure.
Drive through the area. We have to find ways of dealing with that. And a national monument status, if I'm a philanthropic organization out there and I want to give money to deal with some issues, riparian habitat or antiquities, protection of antiquities, I'm going to say, okay, do I give it to the National Forest, which really doesn't have permanent protections? And so I don't know if my money long-term is going to be well spent. Or do I give it to an area like a national monument that does have these protections, that does have as a focus some of the items that I want protected? Well, the money's, and that's been found out across the board, the money is going to go to those types of places like national monuments. And importantly, all the green on the map here, which takes in most of the national monument, as far as it is all the national monument, is Forest Service. And in the long time ago, they used to, if a area became a national monument, it was turned over to the National Park Service. That's not the case anymore. So before this area is designated a national monument, it's under the control of the Forest Service, and afterwards, it's under the control of the Forest Service.
Gotcha. Okay, we have to take our first break. Keep Sedona Beautiful President Tom O'Halloran is in studio today. Good website, redrocknationalmonument.org for more information on this. There's a lot of information on there, actually. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Countywide. Again, a good website for you, redrocknationalmonument.org. Tom O'Halloran, president of Keep Sedona Beautiful, in studio today. Question came in while we were on the break is, we've talked about how nothing's going to change on this. Then if it's not broke, why fix it? If everything seems fine, what is the difference between a national monument and then just having the Forest Service, continue to do what they're doing?
Exactly. Nothing's going to change because people will still be able to recreate and so forth. There'll be easements for roads and utilities and things like that. But we'll be able to bring more money into the area to protect what is a deteriorating condition of our trails and our antiquities, and being able to stop vandalism and things like that. The Forest Service has identified that these types of areas get priorities on grants and so forth, and so that's an important aspect. The management plan that is part of the process, just like it has a management plan now, but it's a different focus on the management plan. The focus, instead of being just on recreation, is going to be on protection of the attributes. And so therefore, protection of antiquities, protection of the scenic views to a much higher level than we currently have. And so if you were going to put a road through the area, the Forest Service wants to put a new road in. They will have to deal with what does that road look like in relationship to the scenic values around here, what mitigation measures will have to be put into place and so forth. Now, we don't anticipate major roadways going in, but even a Forest Service road would have to go through that evaluation process.
It goes through quite a bit of a process now with the environmental impact statements.
It does, and environmental impact statements are always required. Mm-hmm. But the impact statement is in relationship to the management plan also. So what you're trying to manage. And we have species areas here that need to be managed at a much higher level. Most of it is to get this priority done. And the other part is it's currently protected under Amendment 12, no land trades. But Amendment 12, as I said before, it's aspirational in nature. All forest plans have become aspirational in nature and timeless. So if you have a plan to protect an area in the forest and there's no within 15 years or within 10 years, it's timeless. It could be within 100 years, and they don't have to do anything. And the other piece is that the management of the area now becomes a partnership between the forest and the communities and the people in the area. Everybody, it's in the proclamation, everybody must partake in the management plan. It's not just the Forest Service going off alone and then coming back for a brief little period of time saying, what do you think about what we want to do, and then going back and making up their minds on what they want to do from their standpoint, not just the community standpoint.
We should probably hit some more questions. Somebody wanted to know about taxes. What does this mean for taxes for residents?
Nothing. I mean,
won't raise them?
Well, not any more than the county wants to raise them. I mean, the taxes are still under the county, property taxes are, and sales tax is still under the city and state.
Okay, so maybe we should talk a little bit about the process. Now, there's a petition on the website. People could sign it.
There is. The process is important because we're going to be submitting the proposal by October or November. It takes time to run through the bureaucracy in Washington. But right now, this is what we're doing. We're getting the word out to people on just the factual information of what this is about, not what they hear. And then we're trying to like yesterday, I was with the mayor of Cottonwood, the mayor of Clarkdale, Supervisor Davis, giving them updates of where we're at. With the city council in Sedona again next week. The following week, we start to have public meetings. We're going to have a meeting in Sedona Public Library on the 16th of July from 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening. We're going to have a meeting on the 21st of July in Cottonwood. We don't have a location yet.
In Sedona at the library?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Sedona Public Library.
Okay. Okay, how many signatures do you need to get the ball rolling?
You don't need any.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So the petition's just to show the support?
The support level. Because they do look and say, you know, what do the communities want? And more importantly, what do the citizens in those communities want? And so we've been up on the website now with a petition for 19 days, and we have 2,000 supporters so far. We anticipate that we should be able to easily get somewhere around 10,000 supporters by the time we hand a proposal in October or early November.
All right, let's take our second break. Number for you, too, is 282-4938. The website is redrocknationalmonument.org. President of Keep Sedona Beautiful, Tom O'Halloran, in studio today. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
you store your guns properly.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please,
do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left of the program. Real quick, phone number again, 282-4938. Website is redrocknationalmonument.org. That's the information you need to get more information about this. You've got some bullet points on there. There's actually a ton of information on the website.
The website, we've done a tremendous amount of research. Obviously, we've had 28 years to do a lot of the research, but a lot of the research based on national monument status. And we have a quick reference guide there. Well, it will be there tomorrow because the questions we've been getting, we want the people to get their quick answers. But if they want backup information, Supreme Court cases, government regulations, all those types of issues, they can find it on the website and be able to, we want to be able to back up what we're saying. We don't want to have just, oh, you can do this and you can do that.
Is the Forest Service on board with your endeavor?
The Forest Service will not come on board with any type of process like this until there's a proposal brought forward.
Gotcha.
And the Forest Service in Washington signs off. We've been working with the Forest Service on a lot of the information packages. I've met 4 times with the district ranger. I've met with the forest supervisor, and I've met with the Southwestern regional, what they call them, forester, out of Albuquerque.
Okay, we've got about a minute left. You said it's 160,000 acres. Maybe we can paint a picture for those people watching on TV are able to see the map. And of course, this will be posted on the website, so you'll be able to see it there. But paint a picture in my head exactly what is this 160,000 acres?
It takes in about 78,000 acres of wilderness area.
Okay.
And that's because of management purposes, because that land's protected permanently already. But then it takes in about 82,000 acres of national forest, and it goes from Bill Gray Road near the Cottonwood area up through Sedona on 89A and up through Oak Creek Canyon. It takes in the entire Red Cliffs area, including a little bit of Sycamore Canyon. It goes down 179 from Sedona all the way to I-17, and it basically takes in the protection needs of migrating animals, the feeding areas for animals. There's 8 riparian habitat areas in there. We're part of the Pacific Flyway, so that we have over 200 species of birds that fly through this corridor. Right. And the reason they do it is because we have the attributes for them to be able to stop and rest and get water and feed. And if that goes away, you know, we have some serious problems as far as that flyway, which you know, the towns are making money off of the flyway, but also those species need to have a place to rest on their way south and on their way north, depending on the season. There's a lot of it that is unbuildable because of the cliffs, but there's about 40,000 acres that is easily developable, and we have nothing against development, but these are crucial areas for species and for people to be able to recreate in. And as I said earlier, when Phoenix gets to 12 million people, we want to have a management plan that will allow us to balance our citizens' quality of life with the needs of recreation. And that's going to be a hard challenge, but we have to find a way to do that. Our citizens deserve to have a quality of life that is not overwhelmed by the commercialism of the area. And appropriate management plan will go a long way. Dealing with the transportation issues alone, a national monument will give us a higher status on grants for transportation grants. And so that's an extremely important piece of preservation and the ability to bring down more funds to help us with our quality of life.
We're out of time. RedRockNationalMonument.org. All the stuff we've been talking about is on there. Tom, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. All right, that's today's Countywide. Thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you again next time.